Hello and welcome to today's video. Today I'm in the city of Whangarei, which is about 2 hours north of Auckland, and getting right up towards the top of the North Island. It's a very popular area for tourists, particularly during the summer season, and generally has much better weather up this way during the winter months. Just a little bit of drizzle today, so hopefully I can get through this video without getting too wet, but we'll continue on. And behind me, of course, is Whangarei Harbour, and way in the distance behind me over my right shoulder is Whangarei Heads. Some lovely beaches out there, and Northland is known for some very lovely beaches, white sand. So today I'm going to talk about a topic called the 7 Viewpoints of Life. And I decided yesterday to talk about this, and then coincidentally today I actually saw this shirt that I'm wearing in the shop, so I bought it. Didn't consciously think anything about it, but interestingly enough it does contain the 7 colours of the rainbow. It may be a little bit difficult to see on this picture, but they're in there. And I'm also wearing the 7 colours of the rainbow buff around my neck, so the 7 colours of the chakras. And a little bit more of alignment is that you may be able to see here that on my pendant, and I didn't know this until I actually just tried to put the shirt back on, is that the top colour of the indigo aligns with the colour indigo in the shirt, and below that I've got violet, which aligns with the violet colour in the shirt. So more synchronicity as far as I can see there. And so we've got the 7 viewpoints of life, we've got the 7 colours of the rainbow, or the chakras, and coincidentally, and I only just really consciously thought about this just before I set up to do this video, today is the 7th of May. So we have 777, and in the world of spirituality and angels, 777 is indicative of spiritual alignment. So I've got some alignment here already, enlightenment and good fortune. And all of those things sit with me today. The fortune being that I'm in this beautiful spot and able to travel to these areas, and that I am fortunate enough to be in a position to continue bringing some videos and sharing a lot of my thoughts with people. So this topic, the 7 viewpoints of life, it's really a theory that I'd actually come up with some time ago. I'm thinking about 15 years ago. And back then I was thinking, oh yes, we look at life in 7 ways. So I'm really sort of talking about how we can almost view it with our eyes, or our 2 eyes. And those 7 viewpoints are behind us, in front of us, to the left of us, to the right of us, above us and below us. And the last one is we can look at life, or look at things from the viewpoint of inwardly. And I'd never really tied that into the whole spiritual journey, and in fact it's only really in the last couple of days that I realised that it does have a lot of alignment in this journey that I talk about, and a lot of the topics that I talk about. So I'm just going to briefly run over how I view these 7 viewpoints, so to speak, or ways of looking at life. So we're talking about general views, of course, like the behind, the forward, and left and right, and up and down, and inwardly. So I'll just run through each of them and perhaps how they pertain to perhaps that spiritual journey, how it might impact one's life, or it may impact such a journey. So I'll start with looking behind. And I've talked a lot about getting rid of the stuff that's behind me, so it's past. We have good and bad from the past, but a lot of the time we might be weighed down by some of that stuff. I mean, it's stuff that's made us the person that we are on the physical, material plane, but it's also stuff that may be taking up a lot of our energy because we revisit it. And revisiting it and using up some energy on it is not necessarily an optimum way of utilising one's energy. So I'm going to tie this all into perhaps energy at the end, so that we can see how I view this in the spiritual realm. So the stuff that's behind me, I've talked about this before, I've got rid of it, and that includes everything to do with my ego. So I talk about that conditioning, the learnings, what I was taught, what I was led to believe was true, what my name was, everything really. Yes, it is part of me, but it's behind me. It's not something that I revisit. I don't think about it. I don't use up energy on it because I know there is no real value in doing so. Then if I sort of flip that over to looking in front of me, sort of talking about looking out to the future, and what we see in front of us can potentially be good, of course, but it can also potentially be bad, particularly if we've got problems. Problems can sort of look very big when we're looking at them in front of us, and we don't always look a long way out into the future. I mean, we might look out to the future to plan a holiday or what we're doing at the weekend, but do we really look so far ahead that we think about where we want to be at some future point? And then do we go ahead and manifest that, and how do we do that? So again, it's energy being utilised into the future, and the future isn't with us yet. So in a way, it sort of can bring some good things using that energy, but again, if we're dealing with problems that we aren't resolving and just looking at them head on, they can look very big, and it can be a bit of a drain on the energy. So I'll talk about the left and right. I sort of align the left and right with the push me, pull me of life, getting pulled one way or the other, depending on what's happening in my life at the moment, or our lives at the moment. So all the stuff that surrounds us, maybe work, maybe family, maybe relationships, things that are just need resolving. And sometimes when we're getting pushed and pulled left to right, that again requires energy. It requires our energy to go and try and deal with these things. So it's the attachment that is there. So what I'm going to be talking about is this need to literally detach as much as possible from these things that are surrounding us. What's behind us, detach from it. Similarly to the stuff that's in front of us, and the stuff that's pushing and pulling us, the left and right. So getting on to the up and down, the up, I don't think we generally look up a lot. I mean, this is my experience. I don't recall looking up to the stars a lot of my life, or the sky. Sometimes maybe when there was a plane going overhead, or a particularly sunny day, or a particularly clear night. But I didn't look up a lot, and the reasons perhaps we do look up a little bit is things like when we're uplifted, something's good's happening, so our eyes rise to the heavens literally, or maybe we're calling on, I don't want to get religious about this, but sort of like praying to our God or to our divinity, asking for favour, so maybe we're in a position where we need some help, so we look upwards. But do we really look upwards beyond the clouds? I mean, it's a cloudy day today, or beyond the blue sky? Bearing in mind that I talk about the universe a lot, and I just get the feeling that in the past when I looked up, I wasn't looking at it from a universal perspective. I was looking at it from those other fleeting moments of looking up. Looking down, that's an interesting one as well. Looking down, looking down to be grounded in a way, but looking down can also be that looking down to things that are holding us back, or things that are a bit dark. I know, sort of like I'll talk about myself when I was in a depressed state, sort of walking and probably looking down, not looking around me or not looking up. Almost a sign that my problems are below me, holding me down. So again, talking about the energy that it takes to focus on these things that pull me down, and the viewpoint of looking down. So what I'm saying there is all of these things working together, so all of those 6 viewpoints require energy. They're never necessarily in balance. I mean, there's more of one thing affecting oneself at one time, or 2 or 3 things affecting oneself at one time, or they're not all the same amount of energy being required. But what it is it aligns with what I talk about distractions. So it's distracting us in the sense that we're looking at the outer world. All of those things are looking at things that are happening in the outer world. And the things that are happening in the outer world take up a lot of our time, and they're things that are kind of controlling us, taking our energy, not necessarily being resolved. At times we resolve things, but you know, I know for myself, I used to hold on to things and worry about things that had already happened a lot. At times worry about the future, worrying about things that were happening in my day-to-day stuff, the left and right, the depression that was dragging me down. So a lot of energy being used up, and emptying my energy out, and never feeling replenished or never feeling full. So I'll come on to the last viewpoint, which I talk about a lot now in terms of the spiritual realm, which is looking inward. And the looking inward literally matches up with the third eye. We can't look inside ourselves with our two eyes, but from my experience, I can assure you that we can look inward with our third eye. And I talk about the third eye activation, or the third eye opening, which has happened for me. And in the situations I've been in, particularly the meditations, this inward viewpoint has led to the transcendence that I talk about, and it's been that transcendence that has also led me on my path, and it has led me into different situations. So it's the development of your intuition, and your intuition is telling you at times what to do. So my intuition around about 2017 said to me, I wanted to go to Peru. I'd actually written that down as a future happening in my life. And it took until 2025 to actually go. And it was only when I was called to go. So it's my intuition in tune with the universe. And the universe said, it's now time for you to come. And in fact, it was the ayahuasca that was calling me, which is a channel for the universe. Now, all of this, again, may sound like a little bit far-fetched, but I can assure you that for myself, it's far from far-fetched. It's actually total reality as to what has happened. Sometimes I didn't exactly know right at that moment that it was that, but on reflection, I've managed to integrate and understand. And the reason I've understand is because I've gone inward. So what I'm doing with all my energy, so instead of utilising it and having these attachments outside, all of these distractions that taking up my energy, I've concentrated my energy in the main on my spiritual journey, which effectively has been the inward viewpoint, the meditations, the ceremonies that I've undertook, the other learnings that I've, being out in nature, what it can do for me inwardly, looking after myself inwardly in terms of the health. So what I've found is that use of the energy is almost like a situation where you put the energy in and you receive more back. I have received so much more from my inward viewpoint on my spiritual journey than I ever received from decades of utilising my energy on those other viewpoints. So, moving forward, what it's also done for me is, as I just indicated before, it's actually put me in touch with the energy source, or the field, or whatever way we want to call it. I have tuned into the universe, and the universe has its energy flowing through me. And I've talked about this a number of times. So the benefit of going inward for me, and as I say, this viewpoint that I came up with, or this theory that I came up with 15 years ago, so it took me some time to actually align it into the spiritual world, has benefited me immensely. I'm not the first person to discuss this, of course. This is what all the writings and the great spiritual teachers of mankind have suggested anyway. And it's only when I finally got on the path and actually done the steps required, and it takes effort because your energy that you're using up outwardly is habitual. I mean, your body is attuned to those situations, to the potential stresses that you're utilizing your energy on. So you actually have to literally reteach your body that you need to go inward, and that's a very different way of being. But for me, as I say, I can assure you that the benefits have far outweighed the effort that it took. And I really just am going to continue on that path, because the creativity that's coming and the energy that's flowing allows me to carry on this beautiful path that I'm on, this beautiful life that I'm on, the living in the light, living with energy, living with peace, freedom, joy, happiness. These are all marvelous things to be able to express and say that that's exactly how I am. And as I've said many times before, there's no way in my past being in this incarnation that I could ever say that. So I think I must be doing something right. Anyway, I thank you for your time. As always, I'm going to make some more videos on my journey. I will wish you to enjoy the journey, and we will meet when we should. And as always, namaste.